praise your name. You truly are worthy. We give you the glory. Now, God, we ask that you would think with my mind, speak with my tongue. Give me the keenness of mind and the nimbleness of tongue to be able to rightly divide this your word of truth. God, I realize I have nothing good to say that will do a soul any good, but you are our God. And you hold the words that lead to eternal life. Speak, God, your people awake. Father, let me preach. Amen. Amen. Now put your hands together for Jesus. Well, it's good to see you this morning. Amen. Be able to look at one another's face and still be yet alive. Yes. It's so good. Well, guess what scripture we're going to? Matthew. What chapter? 5. What verse? Verse number 13. Matthew chapter number 5, verse number 13. You are the salt of the earth, but if the salt loses its saltiness, how can it become salty again? It's good for nothing except to be thrown away and trampled under people's feet. This is our full sermon in the Salt of the Earth series. We have talked about what salt does. Number one, that salt, it's a seasoning. Number two, that it's preservative. Number three, that it's a catalyst. Number one, that salt of the earth, we are to be seasoning that brings the best out of people that we encounter and come in contact. Number two, as salt of the earth, we are to be preservers of truth. That when everybody else around us succumbs to the lies of the devil, we are to speak truth. Even when that means speaking truth to power. And number three, as salt of the earth, we are to be a catalyst. When like salt we'll put it to the mix, things should change for the better. So the question becomes, how do we do that? How do you not lose your saltiness? And we have been looking at the word salt to help us to be able to not lose our savor and to be cast down and trampled under the feet of men. And the first thing we looked at, we've been looking at the word salt to do that. And the first letter we looked at was S, which stands for service. In order to remain salty and keep your savor, you have got to be a servant. You must take your eyes off yourself and serve others. The second letter we looked at was A, which is accountability. If you're not going to be accountable to somebody, then you're accountable to nobody. All right. That's the way it is with tyrants. They don't want to be accountable to anybody. They impose taxes that benefit only the wealthy. They appoint sex offenders as judges, segregationists as attorney generals. They appoint treasoners as national security advisors, and xenophobes and racists as chief strategists. And when you're accountable, and when you are not accountable to anybody, you are out of control. And there are some people who are out of control. They say that they're against terrorism, but they use terrorist tactics. The shutting down of the government overall is a terrorist tactic used in an attempt to fulfill a campaign promise. It's a terrorist tactic used to appease Ann Coulter and Rush Limbaugh. It is something straight out of the playbook of Al-Qaeda and ISIS. Now, people don't like this kind of preaching, and y'all ain't gonna say amen. My responsibility as a pastor and a preacher of the gospel is to shine a light, a spiritual light on human issues. Tell somebody and say, shine the light, preacher. People won't call what's happening what it is. But since you asked me to shine the light, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell you what it is. It's using terrorist tactics to commit institutional sin. To require people to work for no pay is a sin. The Bible says a laborer is worth his hire. Having to sell blood to pay rent is a sin. Threatening to take away milk out of babies' mouths is a sin. Y'all ain't saying nothing. Threatening to take medicine out of senior citizens' hands is a sin. Threatening to take away housing vouchers from the poor is a sin. It's using terrorist tactics to commit institutional sin, and the perpetrator is out of control. You can't tell them anything because they're out of control. Their opinion is the only opinion that matters because they're out of control. They will do anything to get their way because they're out of control. Lie, cheat, commit fraud, perjury, collude because they're out. Y'all ain't saying it. But not us, the salt of the earth, because we are always accountable to somebody. Today I'm going to look at the letter L, and the L stands for love. Touch your neighbor and tell them he's going to talk about love. Then ask them, what does love have to do with it? Well, let me tell you what love has to do with it. Love has everything to do with it. Amen. I learned the hard way that my wife needs to hear me say, I love you. I learned that the hard way. Now that's hard for men because we done already told you. We told you 10 years ago, and if anything had changed, we would let you know. But that's not the case with women. They need to hear I love you on a regular basis. So in order to keep my wife, who I love dearly, I had to change the way I did things. I had to incorporate I love you in my conversations with her. Now don't get this I love you in conversation confused. Because love is more than just what you say. Love is an action word. When you say you love somebody, you should have some actions that demonstrate the love that you say you have. I gotta give her some flowers every now and then. I have to take her out to dinner sometime and buy her a dress or two. I ain't gotta buy no Bentley or no Maserati. But she does have an affinity for Range Rovers and Mercedes. Now, as for me, I don't need all that. I don't need the flowers and she doesn't even have to cook dinner every night or buy me a car. I just drive a truck. I don't need that because there is nothing that speaks love to me other than, you know. And if you get that straight, I'll fix my own plate and make up my own bed. Or y'all can go work with me. You ain't got that like it. Love is an action word. Somebody say amen. Because it's an action word. And if if you're going to be salt and be seasoning that brings the best out of people, if you're going to be a preserver of truth and a catalyst for change, there is one thing that must be present, and that thing is love. People have to feel love and know that they are loved, because love is an action. So I have spent a large part of my life trying to show my family, my wife and my children, that I love them. I kept a roof over their head, food on the table, clothes on their back. I went to ball games and recitals. I played house and cooked on the easy bake oven. I sat in little chairs at little tables and had tea parties. I made mud pies and played catch and football. I watched Lifetime and Property Brothers. I even went on a cruise. Because love is an action word. I watched these shows and I went on this boat out in all this water that I couldn't drink because I love my wife. And I need to be a part of her work. Every Sunday, she marches out these outfits, dresses and hats and shoes, wanting to know which one looks the best. And I don't give her lip service. I actually engage and talk to her about the outfits so that I can be a part of her work. Because love is an action word. So sometimes I find myself watching Lifetime and Property Brothers and Love It or Listed, and she ain't even at home. Look at God. I have actually gotten into it because when she enters my world,